Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of HomeKit Insider. You've got me, Andrew O'Hara, here with my pal, who records podcasts by day and by night, avenges fish that have been caught from lakes. It is Stephen Robles. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Those fish are slippery, like the iPhone 7 Jet Black. It's like a bar of soap, just flies right out of your hand. I'm telling you, it's hard to save them. It's hard to save them. I'm telling you. No, I don't save fish. Listen, I don't even know if I like fish. Do you like fish? Like eating fish?
I am not a large fish eater, which is unfortunate because I love the water, I love scuba diving, and
right.
yet, every time I visit, the Keys or something else to dive, I don't eat a lot of fish. I will do some white fish. Like I'll do halibut is pretty good if cooked right, and I will do like crab legs. I don't like shrimp or anything.
Shrimp scampi, jumbo shrimp, gumbo
cod,
shrimp.
maybe if you cover it in enough batter and sauce, then I can get on that train. But otherwise,
yeah,
not as much.
Yeah, my wife really likes salmon. She's a big salmon person.
That's one of my least favorites. It is so
least
fishy.
favorite. It is literally a fish. I think this is the farthest from home related topics we could be. I mean, fish. No, I guess you could have a fish tank. We talked about.
I literally do with a smart feeder, Bluetooth connected lights that I can control from my phone. I have a custom light set up on my other one with hue lights I can control through HomeKit. So we can make it work.
We've talked about fish, but let's stop talking about fish. Let's talk about smart home things. We do have some news. Belkin is just interesting news about Belkin and Matter. I can't wait to talk about that. That's going to be good. But let's get to some news. First of all, Chipolo. Chipolo makes Find My devices. They make the little tags, and they make one of my favorite Find My devices, the Chipolo card. This is the Chipolo card spot wallet finder. It is the thing you would put in your wallet. It's like a shape of a credit card, a little thicker. It's like 2 credit cards thick, but it has Find My support, and I've used this since it launched. I bought it directly from Chipolo, but now you can buy it directly in the Apple Store. It actually might be in the Apple stores very soon. This one says, as you listen to this, Monday, March 20th, it should be in there. You can get it delivered as early as tomorrow. But of all the Find My devices, like my AirPods sometimes don't know where they are. They'll say, like, you left your AirPods, and they're in my pocket. Sometimes other Find My devices are kind of meh. But I will say that Chipolo card has been pretty spot on. And so if you're looking for something to find your wallet, but you're not crazy about the MagSafe wallet thing, because that doesn't even have a U1 chip anyway, I like Chipolo card. I'm for it. 2 thumbs up. There you go. Do you have a Chipolo card? Do you have the card, or do you do some of the other things?
I do have one when I am using a traditional wallet, but I don't use a traditional wallet often.
Maybe we'll get to that because you have a different wallet that you reviewed recently. So
Maybe.
All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, well, that's Chipolo. Get it from the Apple Store. Also, Nanoleaf. They make some of our favorite hexagon shapes and such. They came out with a special edition of their hexagons. This is the Cherry Blossom Hexagons, and I have to say, looks pretty cool. And this is just a limited release. It is in Japan mid to late March. It's to coincide with cherry blossom season, and so I think those look very nice. If you want a little decor that looks more planty, less hexagon shapey, you can do it. Cherry blossoms. Look at that. That's fun. I will say I have hexagon shapes in my son's room. One of my sons has them, and somehow they got disconnected, and the little controller piece that has the little part that goes in the side that has play button, turn on or whatever, it fell off. We couldn't find it. I didn't realize you need that to use them at all. That is the whole thing.
That is the thing.
That is the thing. And I was about to reach out to Nanoleaf because, at least on their website, it doesn't look like you can just buy one of those individually, like just a little thing. You might have to ask support to send you one or to buy one. Thankfully, we found it and everything worked. But I forgot that little thing is like the whole brain. So don't lose that. Don't lose that thing. That's the whole thing. So anyway, You got some Nanoleaf behind you. I see the wood things back there.
Yeah, I got the wood hexagons up there. I got the lines behind my desk.
Okay.
I like the mini ones. I think the mini ones are really cool because they're so tiny and itty-bitty, and you can do fun things with them, and they don't take up like an entire massive wall. So those are kind of cool, too.
Tiny, itty-bitty. Yes, so that's cool. All right, so Nanoleaf Cherry Blossoms. Next, this is a Matter-supported smart outlet that should be coming soon. It is a multi-feature outlet where you'd be able to control the outlet, compatible. You can control like on-off switches, but it also has a like night light on the bottom. So if you had this like in a hallway or something, you could actually turn on that light. It's not released yet. It is Matter, not necessarily HomeKit specifically. So this would be another kind of Matter first device. See if you can use it with your Apple Home stuff. But it looks cool. I remember you had a device, I think it was a Leviton switch or something, where there was like a light on the bottom. Or maybe it was a motion detector. Do you have something like this? I forget.
I don't have one like that. So there is a Casper plug that does something like that, but it doesn't have like HomeKit or anything built in. Then there are the iDevices have a tiny little status light that you can actually change via like HomeKit. It's an extra color, a light that you can do stuff with.
Okay.
So that is neat.
That's cool.
But I don't have anything specific like that.
Well, it looks pretty cool. I would be interested to see if that comes out, Matter and all that actually supported. So smart outlet there. Now this is the Belkin news. This is going to be, I'm interested in this. So Belkin, our good friends there, they make the switches, plugs, dimmers, all of that. They just updated all their stuff with Thread in the last several months, like in the last 4 or 5 months. Belkin has announced that it is backing away from Matter. They are including Thread in their devices, the communication protocol that Matter is kind of built off of, but Belkin is like, it doesn't matter to us. Right? Doesn't matter. They are not including Matter. I think this is, I don't know, this seems like a bizarre move. Now, Belkin is a fairly big name, at least in the HomeKit space. They've always been kind of one of the main light switches that I think about, one of the main plugs. I have several Belkin plugs. I have several of their switches, older style, pre-thread. So, I don't know. This seems like an interesting move. What do you think about this, Andrew?
I think this is good. And I think this is, it's like they listened to our podcast 6 months ago and then reacted to it. Because what did we say? Like when Matter was even getting ready to launch. And that's what's going to be the differentiating factor between products. Cool. You have a light switch. How much real differentiation can you do? Like there's not much, and especially when they all work with Matter. And Matter is watered down enough to make it ubiquitous that there's no kind of specific features. So you have these products that are going to have the exact same feature set. Why would you buy the Belkin one for $40, $50 when you can buy no-name Amazon Co. that's certified Matter for $15? And the same thing goes for smart plugs and a lot of the other categories that Belkin plays in. So I do not blame them at all. And they don't say that they're never going to support Matter. They say they're going to go back to the drawing table, rethink this, and try to find a way for their products to differentiate themselves before going in with Matter. And I think that makes sense. I mean, right now, they're sticking with HomeKit only. Reliability, they're available in Apple stores, all that stuff. For HomeKit users, this isn't a big change. We've talked about the only real reason you need to worry about this is if you plan on buying some sort of Matter-only controller, like a Google display, like the Nest Home Hub, or an Amazon Show, whatever, something like that.
And Echo Show.
Yeah, whatever it is, I don't care.
Those things.
But if you plan on buying one of those and want it to control all of your HomeKit stuff, all those devices you use have to be Matter. So if you plan on buying an Echo Show and you want to be able to control your Wemo light switch or your Wemo smart plug, they would need to have Matter. That's the only reason. So as long as you stay away from those, and Apple just gives us one of its own already, which rumors about that, we talked about it in last week's episode. That's the only kind of reason. So it's not a huge loss for HomeKit users if this is a thing. And this is literally one of the problems with Matter is everything's going to just get watered down, and there's going to be very little way for people to differentiate themselves. It's going to be harder to get premium products because why would you spend that money when you can get a cheaper one that effectively will do the same? And they're fixing kind of a big problem with the cheaper garbage that we find. By going with Matter, they're bringing in a lot of Apple's security stuff from HomeKit. The pairing process, the onboarding process, the security things that HomeKit touted, a lot of that, if not all of that, will be in Matter. So now you're going to have these really crappy, cheaper products that can kind of tout the same security and all of that for a lot less money.
Yeah.
So don't blame Belkin at all for this. And I think there needs to be some more platform-specific features that Apple can develop that are unique to HomeKit that Belkin can jump in on. Support Matter to broaden the audience, but also to support more stuff on different platforms.
Okay, I'm down with that take. I will. We'll see. I actually have the Wemo dimmer with thread. They sent me one. Unfortunately, do you have one of those? By the way, I'm just curious. One of the new Wemo dimmers with thread. I don't think Andrew has one of those. Oh, you can't hear me. Cool. So the new. Well, let's see. Shoot. Can't hear me. Okay. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not coming through your AirPods now.
You're good.
Oh, I'm coming through your AirPods? Oh, I'm coming through your AirPods now? Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you have the Belkin Wemo with thread dimmer?
I do. I don't have it set up at the moment, but I do.
Okay. I will just say I did go to set it up because I was very excited. I had the old Wemo dimmer and switches because when I built my house, which we're going to talk about for a listener question, I put a lot of the Belkin ones in for dimming because there wasn't a lot of options that were not hub-based. But anyway, the one with thread, for some reason, where you put like the electrical wires in the back of the dimmer, there's like these little metal like clasps that are supposed to hold the wires as you put it in. And one of them like broke when I was putting it in because it's like, very hard copper or whatever. And it's just like jiggling around now inside and I cannot get it out. And I also have no way to secure the electrical cable into the back. And so I couldn't use it. Like it like that little metal piece. And so, Belkin, if you're listening, and maybe you are, can you send me another one? And maybe if you've updated that design, because it was kind of like, I was surprised. I was so disappointed because I wanted thread. My Belkin Wemo Wi-Fi switches are a little spotty when it comes to connectivity, but I like them when they work. So anyway, it's an interesting move. We'll keep an eye on Belkin, but also all this Matter stuff, it doesn't really affect me because I'm all HomeKit. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to have a Matter controller. I'm not going to have an Echo Show. I'm not going to get a Google Nest Hub Max Ultra. So, I'm fine. Whatever.
There are some things. I did get the. I haven't opened it yet, but it did just show up because they just got them back in stock. The new Samsung SmartThings Hub with Matter. So I'm interested to kind of set that up, and I wonder how that's going to affect things like. I have a lot of Samsung TVs, the Samsung fridge, the Samsung washer and dryer, and I'm wondering how things will be able to play around with each other. You might be able to use like the fridge as a controller for things. So I'm going to kind of play around and see some of the different ways that these will work together.
Okay. Very cool. Oh, and I do want to mention very quickly before we thank our friends at, well, I won't tell you, I won't give it away, the Ecobee update. There was a software to the Ecobee. And I was in Las Vegas. That's why I wasn't on last week's show. And when I got back, my Ecobee was updated. I thought it updated automatically. And then it turns out my 10-year-old son was like, yeah, I saw that there was an update on the thing. So I pressed update. I said, listen, never update something without telling me first. And that's how I instructed him to do that. But apparently it did not automatically update. Apparently my son saw it on the Ecobee thermostat and just hit update. But I don't know if you talked about it last week or if you've experienced it, but I really do like the software update. I like the redesign of the Ecobee software. I think changing the temperature is easier and faster. You can tap the plus and minus buttons, big numbers in the middle. A couple places in the UI, I feel like the text is a little too big. I do feel like it is like almost scrunching the entire screen of the Ecobee. But I do like the redesign overall, and I really like, one of my favorite things is, in our family room, I do not have a HomePod in the room specifically. The Ecobee thermostat acts as my Siri controller for that room. There are HomePod minis kind of like in bathrooms that are close by and in other rooms, but a lot of times that Ecobee is the one that picks up Siri commands for that room. And now with that Ecobee software update, when you invoke Siri, actually the whole screen turns into little Siri glowing orbs so you know it's listening. And I really love that, because before I could never tell if it was hearing me, how quickly it was going to respond. And now it's just very obvious that the Ecobee thermostat is like, I am listening as Siri right now. And so of all the parts of that software update, that is one of my favorites. And so kudos to Ecobee, a great update. I know some people have not seen the update yet. Again, I'm not sure how old models will get the update. I don't have the newest premium, like, aluminum band Ecobee. I have 1 year older, so... Do you have info on that, or do you know anything about that?
No, but my guess is, so when I reviewed the new Ecobee thermostats, there's 2 different models of the new ones. Right. They came with a whole new user interface, but one of the promises was that updated UI would come to the prior generation units. So my guess is that is what you saw, because I don't think I've seen an update yet. So I believe it's bringing the new UI to the older units. So the ones that I've had for the last year or something, you're getting on yours.
Oh, okay. Well, so it's way late, but it is.
I mean,
great.
It's new for the older models, so.
Sure. Okay, well, there you go, and I really enjoy it. So if you don't see that update yet, can you force the update? Because I guess listeners have been saying there's not really a place to go to settings.
No, so actually,
force it.
I remember years ago. I don't want to say something that's going to get Ecobee support slammed, but I remember years ago when I had one of the last ones, and they were adding AirPlay 2 or something via software update, and it did not show up automatically, and you could call support and request the update, and they would whitelist your unit, and it would go through. But they roll it out in kind of phases, but you could call in and do that. So I can't promise that that's still a thing, and I don't want to send a bunch of people calling Ecobee support saying, give me an update, when they can't do it. But that's how that worked last time, and it did work.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Very good. Well, I like the update, so good on that. All right, before we get to some other updates and a review, just want to thank our sponsor, Kolide. You've heard us talk about Kolide, and if you're an Okta user, OKTA, they can get your entire fleet to 100% compliance. Well, how do they do it? If a device isn't compliant, the user can't log into your cloud apps until they fixed the problem. It's that simple. Kolide patches one of the major holes in zero trust architecture, which is device compliance. Without Kolide, IT struggles to solve basic problems, like keeping everyone's OS and browser up to date. Unsecured devices are logging into your company's apps because there's nothing there to stop them. And Kolide is the only device trust solution that enforces compliance as part of authentication. And it's built to work seamlessly with Okta. The moment Kolide's agent detects a problem, it alerts the user and gives them instructions to fix it. If they don't fix the problem within a set time, they are blocked. A gate comes down and they are totally blocked. Kolide's method means fewer support tickets, less frustration, and most importantly, 100% fleet compliance. So to learn more, visit kolide.com/HomeKit today. You can learn more, book a demo. That is KOLIDE.com/HomeKit to try it out. That link is also in the show notes, and you can try it there. Our thanks to Kolide for sponsoring this episode. Now, you put in here, you snuck in here right as we were starting, Home Widget update. Is this the app Home Widget? Is that what that is?
Yes, the app Home Widget.
Home Widget.
Home Widget.
Okay.
Yes. So
what is the update? What is happening here?
Well, they're not saying that this is under embargo, so they're. I swear, I'm not trying to say that every time, but they're.
Yeah.
Anyway,
as long as no one says don't talk about it, we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. So don't tell Andrew unless you tell him not to talk about it. Anyway, Clement, who's the creator of Home Widget, messaged me, and basically, with iOS 16.4, that's currently not out because a new beta came out this the week that we're recording this. And there's not going to be a new one by the time you guys are listening to this if you listen to it right away. But with some changes going on, you can actually lock a device kind of after running a shortcut. So basically, a user can launch an action from a locked screen. It'll like unlock your phone, run the action, and then lock the phone again rather than take you to your unlocked home screen. So it almost feels like you're able to run and act like you can just tap, and as far as like things go, your phone is back to it's sitting there locked state just like before you ran that action from your lock screen. So some little magic going on with like a shortcut that can relock your phone, some cool stuff, but with these little workarounds they can make this work. So this will be available with 16.4. They look to bring it out in version 1.2.5, which will be available with 16.4 and brings that as a new feature. So that's pretty cool. You can basically run HomeKit scenes directly from your lock screen and end up with a locked phone again. So pretty sweet. Pretty sweet little tweak.
Yes, that is exciting. I will be looking for that. I have Home Widget. I've used it a couple times. I don't use it as much or as often maybe as I should. So 16.4 when that comes out, I'll give it the old college try, and we'll see. I'll make some widgets. I'll make some lock screen widgets. I have been using, not HomeKit related, but there is an app called Lock Launcher. Lock Launcher. It has like a little rocket ship on there. And this is what, let me turn the brightness down because I know it's going to be overblown. This is what it looks like. Still overblown. Lock Launcher, you can put apps, you can run shortcuts. You can even do this thing where it'll simulate a live activity but give you shortcuts to like 5 different apps right on your lock screen all the time, which is pretty cool. Like, I'll actually show you what it looks like. So the Lock Launcher lets you do this. And so you could basically have that like little dock on your lock screen all the time. And it can launch any of those apps directly, and you just tap it and it'll, go into the Safari thing. It's a cool app. The constant live activities, I was like, feels a little much, so I didn't keep that on. But it does let you create widgets for your lock screen, like the little circular widgets. And for whatever reason, Apple does not have a podcast lock screen widget. Like, you can't just open the podcast app, which seems wild. But Lock Launcher lets you do that, and so I just have a little icon that goes right to the podcast app. So I'm all for these like widget apps. So Home Widget, I'll put a link to that app in the show notes, and when 16.4 comes out, that'd be pretty cool to run scenes right from the lock screen. Never even unlocked. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. Now you have a wallet. We're back to the Find My arena, the Find My circle. And tell me about this. The ESR wallet, it is MagSafe. Looks like it's also a stand. Wow.
It's
Look at
all
this thing.
sorts of things, Steven. So
all the things.
Backing up to a minor point, I just did a video.
Beep. Sorry, I was backing up.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
Sorry. Sorry.
Anyway,
okay, please continue.
Steven.
Anyway. Yes.
Yeah, I did a roundup of my favorite MagSafe wallets as a generality first. So a couple of like my honorable mentions that I can just like throw out real quick. This here is the this one's from Atom Studios, which is very neat. It's blurry in my video.
Yep.
Cover my face.
I see.
What's cool about this one is so it copies Apple's, style, like a lot of them do, but it's made out of cork, which is a really just unique material. It looks really neat. I have some like clothes from like Tentree that use cork on them. Tentree makes actual like wallets that are out of cork, so it's a durable material. So really cool to see it as a MagSafe wallet. So I like this one a lot. Honorable mention.
Cool.
Next up we have from Mujo. Mujo makes some really nice iPhone cases, and I like their little take on the MagSafe wallet. So still similar to Apple style, but they added a slanted groove at the top, which makes it easier to grab your cards, and they've added an extra front lift piece that you can push up to help remove your cards, and they added silicone grips on the back. They still have the thumb hole to get it out there, but you have all these silicone grips, so it stays on quite a bit better than Apple's and some of the other ones do. So another kind of honorable mention one for a simple MagSafe wallet. The next honorable mention, we're getting like more and more impressive here as we go. The next one here,
all right.
This one is from Moft. This is, I think, the Flash, but it's almost just as thin, but it expands out as a little stand. Use it that way or horizontally, like your phone can turn horizontally on it. MagSafe, it uses vegan leather. Sure. Some people, pleather, whatever. Good thing or bad thing, depending on who you ask. It'll hold like 3 cards, but it's really nice because a huge opening in the back, which makes it a lot easier to get your cards in and out. I had 3 top place ones, and the last one is the ESR wallet that you talked about. That has the most functionality and mostly ties in with HomeKit, or at least smart home stuff. My third place choice was Apple's wallet, because as you said, it does include the Find My support, but it's as basic as it gets. I mean, you just get the detachment alerts, and you can mark it as lost, but that's all Apple's does. My second favorite MagSafe wallet, I don't have, maybe you can pull up a picture of this one, Steven, because I left it upstairs. I grabbed this whole stack and then forgot that one upstairs. The Peak Design wallet. So you can see the whole thing in action in my video that we'll link. But what's cool about the Peak Design ones, it still pivots out into a stand. It's made from fabric rather than leather or pleather. So it can be really, really thin material. And I love that you can hold like 5 cards in there, but it's as thick as like the Moft wallet. That little thing folds over to keep your cards in, and you can just, when you lift that up, it automatically ejects everything inside. So it's the easiest way to get your stuff out from any other one that I've tried. Just like that, right there. You lift it up, all of your cards slide forward. And this one even works with cash. So if I'm going somewhere and I want to take, a couple 20s or something, I don't need like a wad of cash, but if I want to take a few bills, I can fold them up and stick them in there along with my cards. So this is a really, really nice one, plus the built-in stand.
That's cool.
That is the one that I've used for the longest period of time. So that's been my go-to. But I might have a new go-to just because of the fancy functionality that ESR has built into this one. So this is launching as a Kickstarter. Okay. It's the Geo Wallet and Stand from ESR. The biggest thing here, it has full built-in Find My support. So tiny little pogo pins for charging. You get a 3-month charge off of a single, power-up. Yes, you have to charge your wallet, but kind of the alternative is like throwing it away. And if you're keeping something like that charger plugged in to like by a nightstand or something, it's relatively easy to like take your wallet out of your like whatever vanity or something that you put like your wallet on at the end of the day, when you take it out of your pants pocket or off the back of your phone. Right. If you keep it there, I feel it's not that hard. I have like my insulin pump that's got to get charged every couple of days or something. And when I take it off to like shower something or getting ready in the morning, I can just plug it in, and it's really easy to do. So this never bothered me. But charging there, MagSafe, very strong MagSafe hold. They say it's twice the amount of hold as Apple's, which I believe. It feels it's like 1,500 Gs of strength or whatever, and it is
1,500 Gs. That's like Top Gun Maverick.
that was literally like their unit. I'm like, I don't even know. But the point is, I think they say it's twice the strength of Apple's, and I agree with that. So good amount of hold here. Maybe they meant it could hold like 1,500 grams. I don't know, but it's very strong on there. It holds 3 cards. Apple's only holds 2. It'll hold 3 in here easily. There's a little spot at the bottom. You push up, and your cards are free. There is no hole in the back on this one, so it is just up from the bottom to get them. Mine is a pre-production unit, and it's too tight. When I reached out to ESR, they said they're aware of the issue, and they fixed it on their production run, so it won't be a problem. But I do want to mention that was a thing on my review unit here. It has a little loop in the back, so it's kind of like almost like a pop socket type situation. Sticks up, stick your finger in. Now you got an extra grip for your phone. Really easy to hold on to that way. Taking photos, leaning over an edge, whatever. But I really like this finger grip a lot. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, of course, it acts as a stand. It pivots out, turn it sideways. It's seriously a strong magnet. Go sideways, catch up on Ted Lasso, whatever you want to watch on your phone, vertical, take a FaceTime call, all of that. And as I said, full Find My support. There is a speaker on it right here, so you can play noises from this thing. You have Bluetooth connection to your phone, so you can track down where it is, like all officially licensed through Apple. This is the only MagSafe wallet to fully integrate with Find My. There's no precision tracking, but Apple limits that to only the U1 and the AirTags. So there's no precision finding, but as long as you're within Bluetooth range, you can get closer and closer. It'll guide you like closer, and then it will, make noise because you can make it chirp. So it can do that. Basically, otherwise, full Find My support. Market is lost. All of that stuff. It's pretty neat. This is a really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited by this.
Okay, so you can back it on Kickstarter now, but you can't buy it yet. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Just back it on Kickstarter. We will put the link to Andrew's review has the big button to support it on Kickstarter. It's pretty cool. That might be the first MagSafe wallet I might consider after Apple's. Because I did Apple's for a while, and I was like, meh,
I just needed one more card slot, is honestly what I needed. And 2 is just shy, because I do use debit, credit, and an ID. I need 3 things.
Yeah.
Get me rid of an ID, or let more places actually accept Apple Pay that I don't need to rely on having like my debit card or something handy. That needs to happen. So until then, I'm going to need to keep at least 3 cards on me at all times. So the Peak Design one I really like, and the new ESR one, especially if there's that little more gap that I can easily fit 3. I can fit 3 in there now, but it can get a little tight trying to get them out. Like, especially when they have like the card. I almost held up my credit card. With the card numbers on them, it probably wouldn't have been a great thing to do on camera. But if they're like, the Apple Card and ID, there's no card numbers on there, so it's no big deal. But when the card numbers stick out, it makes it was getting a little too tight. So with that fixed, this I can easily see being my go-to in terms of a wallet for most everyday stuff.
That's cool. Very cool. All right, a link to that review and the roundup video is in the show notes. Now, before we go, wanted to get a couple listener questions in here. Keith Proctor says he is building a new home. Do you have a list of suggested smart things to think about? If you've listened to the show, you might have heard me also building a new home and have lots of things there. You're looking for no-hassle door locks, no batteries, not big and bulky. Just grab door and walk out. That's going to be a little tougher. Leviton light switch. This is Keith saying Leviton light switches seem to be based on motion only, not that your heat signature true occupancy sensor thrown off early. Okay, so first of all, with the building the new home and thinking about smart things for your house, I feel like you need to start with your internet situation, your Wi-Fi situation, and thinking about where you're going to place HomePods and or Apple TVs that might have Thread built in. So I'm going to try and be fancy here and show a couple pictures. This was me during the building process of the house. I have my little iPad mini there showing the house layout. But of all the things, I knew the internet needed to be spot on. And so I ran Ethernet to myself in many, many places, down the walls, to every Apple TV is hardwired. I ran Ethernet to all the bedrooms, so TVs on the wall that have an Apple TV connected. The Apple TV is hardwired. Ethernet in my office here. I have 2. I ran 2 Ethernet lines just in case here to the office. I did test them all. Do test Ethernet lines as you run them. What I will say is, however many Ethernet lines you feel like are too many, run more. Run even more, because I wish I had run Ethernet cables for all of my Sonos stuff, and I wish I had run an Ethernet cable. There was one bedroom where I was like, Wi-Fi should be fine for that. I wish I ran an Ethernet cable. Don't doubt it. Just run the Ethernet cable. And with Sonos, again, if you're going to plan to get a Sonos Arc, a Beam, the subs, I would have ran Ethernet to all those places. I would have loved my sub to be hardwired. I would have loved my Sonos soundbars to be hardwired to Ethernet. So just run the Ethernet everywhere and be strategic on where you're going to place your Wi-Fi routers. I mentioned before. Oh, I'm sorry. You can say something? What can you say?
Yeah, on the Ethernet cables, two kind of tips that you can do. When I was building out my studio, I actually ran 4 walls in a room. I dropped an Ethernet line for each wall, but I didn't all connect them. I dropped them behind the outlets, and I chose the one that I knew I was probably going to use this one, so I connected that one. But I still had other lines in all the 4 spots, and then where they went back to my main switch, I just had them all labeled, and I could swap out the one for the room that I was going to use. That basically gave me the ability to pop it out of any wall and put in an extra box if I ever needed to in the future. Because like you said, you can never have too many, so I can sit here knowing I have an Ethernet on this wall, I've got an Ethernet on that one, that one, that one. Only one is popped out at the moment, but if I switched my studio around, one to move it over here, move my desk over here, I could just take off the outlet and put in a second box right next to it, connect an Ethernet line, and it's live, ready to go, and I don't have to worry about it. So I mean, that's might be overkill, but I found that to be really useful when running these lines. And then you could do something like put a switch in the room and control all of them, but I just ran 4 lines back, and I labeled them left, right, whatever, or north, south, east, west, and then just plugged in the one that I was using. And then I could always just swap it on the back end whenever I needed to adjust it to a different location. Minor thing, but it was helpful.
Yeah, and I would say I use a cheap switch in my entertainment area because I have my son has his Xbox, PlayStation, Apple TV, the receiver, and I do want all those hardwired. I didn't feel the need to run cables from that section all the way back to my IT closet for each of those single devices. And again, those are not mission critical. So for those, I used a cheap switch there at the entertainment center, and then just ran the one line there. But just to show you again what the closet looks like. So this is eventually what I did. So all the Ethernet cables ran to a single place in a closet, and in there I have the Ubiquiti UniFi Dream Machine Special Edition, which allows me to do power over Ethernet. And so I used the UniFi access points, which are power over Ethernet. This way I didn't have to run electrical power to the Wi-Fi router locations. I just needed Ethernet. And then I also have a cheap switch. You'll see that Netgear switch. That is for all my hubs. So my Lutron hub, my Philips Hue, my Aqara, all of them are kind of on that cheaper switch. Because again, they are mission critical, but it's also fun. It's fine. And so I did that for those. I will say that, what was I going to say? Oh, the run Ethernet everywhere, run multiple, run it for every speaker you might want to have. Oh, I'm going to put a link in the show notes to the Ubiquiti Design Studio. This is a free tool. You just have to sign up for a Ubiquiti account, which is free. And you can literally upload your house plans to this design center. You can mark which are the exterior walls and the material, which are the interior walls and the material. And then you can physically place Wi-Fi routers throughout your house and see what the coverage will look like. And that was crucial in my planning. I got 2 long-range Wi-Fi 6 access points from UniFi, and using that planner, I was able to place them strategically so the entire house was covered, and I have decent coverage everywhere, even in the farthest locations. And it's just an incredible tool. And you can see how much coverage drops once you go to an exterior wall, especially if it's block or cement. And you can see if your patio is here and you want to be able to be on your iPad on your patio and have good Wi-Fi, use this tool to really plan it out. Even if you don't end up buying the UniFi routers, if you're going to buy Wi-Fi 6 routers of similar power, it'll at least give you an idea of how the walls will affect the signal and how you might want to think about placing a mesh router network. And so I really feel like that is a key part of building a smart home, is making sure your internet backbone is solid. And so those are just some thoughts for that. And his other issues, that's tough. If you want a door lock with no batteries, I don't think you can do that with HomeKit. You got an idea on that one? You got an idea?
I do. Especially if you're doing a new home and you don't mind spending the money, this might be what you consider. So I
Okay.
think this was originally announced at 2022 CES, but then I saw it actually in person and demoed it at 2023 CES, which is Masonite M-Pwr front door. So I just sent you over the link, Steven, but this is like an all-in-one wired front door, and they have everything from like a light at the top to a smart Yale door lock built in, and everything is powered, embedded in the door. All this really cool tech in just like a single install package. No batteries to replace, just good to go. So you're right, this does not have HomeKit support, but it is Z-Wave, so, or at least some of the stuff is Z-Wave. So I don't know if there are ways to get certain parts of this into HomeKit, but this is my solution for that problem, if that's what you want to go down.
Wow. The powered door. So that's cool.
I mean,
so
if
you can do that.
Apparently, it's pretty easy to install the actual power, but it would be a lot easier to do it while you're actually doing a new build. So,
yeah. So very cool. Well, that's an idea. And then he's talking about Leviton light switches and motion sensors versus occupancy or vacancy. And yes, the Leviton switches with a motion sensor built in, that is motion. That is not occupancy. Right now, there's not really, I think, a great occupancy sensor option for HomeKit specifically. That Aqara F2 presence sensor is hopefully coming soon and might be your best bet. Again, that is not a light switch. That is literally just the occupancy sensor you would have to mount or put somewhere in the room. But that is kind of your only option there. Unless Andrew has some other magic anything. No?
Right now, that would be the one. I would think that the Nanoleaf will fill that spot with their Sense Plus switches when those are available.
Gotcha. All right, very cool. And lastly, this is from Guy Woodard. He said, Nanit is great. Do you know what he's talking about? N-A-N-I-T?
I do. After last week's episode, we talked about a bunch of baby tech, had a bunch of people writing in, saying thanks, asking some other questions. So Guy wrote in recommending the Nanit, whatever it is, but I have seen these, and I had not tested them because I had wondered about them. So now I'm going to have to go and pick some up and try them out just to see how they do. But basically, baby monitors. We talked about how regular HomeKit cameras aren't ideal for watching your tot. And Faith and I were talking about this yesterday, Stephen. This is what needs to exist. Maybe this is already a thing that I don't know about. So if it is, someone inform me.
Sure.
When we have our baby tech, there's like two different, three. There's audio-only baby monitors. There are video baby monitors that work like locally at your house to a receiver, which are nice because then you hold a receiver. You don't have to have your phone on the entire time. It's a lot easier just to have that propped up, and then it automatically wakes up when your baby makes noise. Super. That's what we talked about with like the Cozy Mom or something last week.
Right.
We need a third option. The third option is going directly to your phone, like Wi-Fi enabled going to your phone. We need a fourth option that locally goes to a receiver, but you can also view remotely. So when you're at home, you can use a receiver, works great. But if you leave, you have a babysitter over and you just want to, it makes you feel better to check on your baby in its crib. You can open the app and see in the crib that's your child and not like an alligator. I assume that's what you find in cribs in Florida. But it's helpful to know those things. And I just think that should be a thing. There should be one that works locally with a receiver, but can also work with your phone. Even if you're at home and you're out in the yard and the receiver doesn't reach, but you still want to be able to get alerts that your kid is sleeping or something. Like if you're out having like a bonfire or something, but your kid's inside sleeping. Whatever the situation is, I think it would be useful to have something that did both. And I don't know of any that do both, but it should be a thing.
Yeah. Well, that's very good. So Nanit, Andrew will have to report back to see if he can try it. But we'll put a link to that in the show notes, along with everything we discussed. If you're going to buy that Masonite smart door, would love to hear about that experience too. Let us know. You can tweet at Andrew and myself, Mastodon us, comment on YouTube. You can watch this show at youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. And let us know what projects you got working on, what new devices you're excited about, and we'd love to hear about it. And so thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.